do I need to do? You probably also need to remove any media that you're consuming that talks about, well, I'm not achieving my goals. Like, I don't think I'm gonna achieve my goals. Like, the negative media that you consume on social media. Maybe you need to remove your distractions, like your phone, your social media, mute all your social media platforms that like TikTok and Instagram, and mute those. I am back. Hi, bestie. Wait, hold on. Hi, besties. Welcome to my podcast, Your Against You podcast, and I'm your host, Deja Nicole. So, in today's episode, which is season 4, episode number 2, I will be talking about how to chase your goals in 2026, how to achieve your goals in 2026. So, this episode is titled, this era is called Chasing Goals in 2026. So, we're about 2 weeks away from 2026. Like 2026 is approaching us like that. When we have this episode out, or when I post this episode out, which is going to be tomorrow because today is Saturday, it's about 2 weeks. So this is going to be your go-to guide on how you can achieve your goals in 2026 and how you can break down your goals. I have other episodes in the past that talks about how to achieve your goals, but we're gonna make 2026 our year because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, feel like 2025 has been like a shit show, and we're going to make 2026 our year. So let's get into today's episode, besties. So first of all, we're gonna do the mental health checkup. So me mentally, I am good, I'm happy, I am healthy. I'm kind of tired probably because I am still in my cycle, but I am good in that I am healthy. I'm ready for the holidays and I'm ready for the new year to come because I want to leave everything that happened in 2025 in 2025. But I am good in that I am healthy. I journal now. I'm getting back into working out next week. I am, yeah, like the week of Christmas, I would say. So next week, I am doing my hobbies. I want to do more of my hobbies, more to stay off my phone. And I'm going to share some things that I feel like a lot of people should do in 2026 to change how they were this year. But those are some things that are happening in my life, and my mental health is so good. Me and my boyfriend is about to hit a month, so tomorrow, so the day that I post this episode, we will hit a month. So I'm so happy about that. And I'm just smiling more and loving myself more and doing things that put joy into my life. So yeah. So today's quote is, your discipline is a seed. It's up to you to grow it. I feel like this quote is really good for this episode because I am talking about how to chase your goals next year, how to achieve your goals next year. So yeah, and then today's affirmation for today's episode is, I am allowed to take things at my own pace, which I feel like that affirmation is perfect, especially in today's day and age, because I feel like with social media, we can see someone who is where God puts them in their life, and we feel like we have to be where they're at, but we don't know what's behind closed doors. So sometimes we need to actually, not even sometimes, just in general, like now, like right now to New Year's Eve, we need to stop comparing our lives to other people on social media and start focusing on what we should do for ourselves and start filling up our own cups. So, yeah. And then today's journal prompt is, what is a goal that you want to achieve, or what are some goals that you want to achieve in 2026? So, yeah, besties. Now, before we start today's episode, you can follow You Against You podcast on both Instagram and TikTok, which is You Against You pod dot by Deja. That will be in the show notes wherever you're watching slash listening to this episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a rating and review. And if you are listening to this on Spotify, don't forget to leave a rating and comment. This really does help push out my podcast to new viewers, to new listeners. And one of my goals next year is to actually build a bigger community around my podcast. I know I haven't been really consistent, but I want to be consistent with my podcast, with this podcast, because this podcast is my baby, and I want to be like involved and do a lot of things like events either late next year or 2027. There's a lot of things that I want to do that evolves around You Against You podcast. So yeah. But let's just get into today's episode. I have about 4 key points that I'm going to talk about. I'm literally I have them on my notions, but I don't really have notes under them because I want to really just talk about them like straight from my heart. And then I want to share before this episode ends things that I want to achieve in 2026 and how I'm going to achieve them. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, the first topic that I'm going to talk about is define your 2026 goals. So, there's a lot of things that can go with this, and there's a lot of directions that you can go. But I feel like if you really want to make 2026 your goal, like your year, define your goals. Now, what do I mean define your goals? Well, write them down. It is better to write them down on a sheet of paper than typing them and writing them down in your notes app, because when you're writing something with a pen on paper or pencil on paper, it is locked in your mind. I feel like once you have all your goals, no matter how many goals you want to achieve, we got 365 days. A lot of people might write down like their top 26 goals for 2026, but if you have more goals than 26 goals, then write more than 26 goals for 2026 and define what they are. And then ask yourself for each goal, when do you want to achieve these goals? What are the deadlines? I feel like goals should have deadlines, because if they don't have deadlines, how the heck are you going to know when to achieve this and how to achieve this? Next is to have steps. I have a whole episode, which I will put in the show notes in this episode. I have a whole episode in season 1 on how to achieve your goals, like how to really achieve your goals. And I talk about in the episode to break down your goals into sub goals. Your sub goals are like your steps, and when you hit those steps, those are milestones, and you're like achieving your small goals, your sub goals. Because you can look at something and you can, dive into it, but you can miss so many steps. It's like when you are, learning how to drive a car, or when you was like in kindergarten, preschool, you was learning how to do a lot of things, but you had steps to follow. And when you skipped a step, everything went left than right. So when you're writing your goals, have some goals, have steps for those goals. For me, one of my goals is to get my license. Those are like one of my personal goals, is to get my license. I already have my permit. The next goal is just getting my license. So the sub goals of me getting my license is to practice driving again, to not let my anxiety get to me. So I feel like if I can practice driving with someone who won't give me anxiety, because I don't like when people like do sudden movements, like hold on like the little thing, the handle right here, like on the car and stuff. I don't like that. It gives me anxiety. I don't like when people do that, because now you making me worry. You should be making me worry when we are in a motor vehicle, a motor machine. And I asked my boyfriend, because he's home for Christmas. He lives in North Carolina. I asked him like, can you teach me how to drive? And he told me yes. So that is my goal, is to learn how to drive, is to ask someone, either practice in my neighborhood or a empty parking lot. And so I want to practice driving like for 2 to 3 hours. Once I get the basics, then like next step is out in the streets, with the stoplights and all. And then take my driving test. I just need to have something in my head that cannot let me have anxiety. But I have steps to get my license, to, not let my anxiety and my fear get to me. Another goal of mine that I can have steps for is publishing my book. I'm already writing my second draft. I'm going to get beta readers, write my third draft, get ARC readers. But while I'm doing my beta readers and writing my third draft, is find an editor and to, talk to a query agent and find all of that for my book, because you can have two steps that goes on top. It's like habit stacking. So you can have one step that you're doing and also do another step that is like habit stacking, like I said, and it can also help you get closer to your goals. So when you break down your big goals into small goals into steps, it really helps you literally step like a couple inches back to see, okay, this is my roadmap for this. This is how I'm going to achieve it. Let's start from the beginning, which is the starting point, and do all of these little steps so we can get to the end point. So that's just something that you want to do, is define your goals, have steps for those goals, and then ask yourself questions like how I'm going to achieve this, what are the steps I'm going to do, when I want to achieve this by. And I feel like you should have a deadline for your goals. When you don't have deadlines for your goals, you're not really going to have anything set for yourself. For me, I'm trying to finish writing my second draft for my book, and I want to do it before the end of the year. I'm going to actually stay up late because I have caffeine in my system right now after I record this podcast episode to like finish typing a few more chapters, and then tomorrow I do a few more chapters until I hit 57, because I have 57 chapters in my book. I'm on chapter 27. I'm done with chapter 27, so I'm going to get to either 31 or 32, and then tomorrow either do 33 to 36, and then 37 to 42, 43 to 45, 46 to 50, 51 to 54, and then 55 to 57. So those are my goals. I just have to really be set. And sometimes, and when you have a plan with that, especially like with me writing a book, it is okay to take breaks in between. Do not think you have to like finish everything within a week, especially have a long deadline. Mine is like in January. I just need to get done by January 5th, and it's December 20th. So I think I do still have time. I just really need to either put on lo-fi music, put something on like white noises, and really crack down. And that is something that I'm gonna do. I'm like sometimes the laziest person, don't feel like doing something, always feeling tired, and I need to stop doing that and making excuses. And I feel like for us, I feel like we like to put ourselves down, especially when we have big goals, because we see someone else on social media who achieved that goal, and we tell ourselves, well, I don't think I can actually achieve that. Like, I don't want to go through the whole process of that. And we need to tell ourselves, I do want to go through the process through that, like they did, or a similar process to that. I want to achieve this goal, and stop having that negative mindset on not achieving our goals, and switching our mindset as well. I feel like when you switch your mindset, you turn the key, like the switch, I would say the key, like when you flip the switch from negative to positive, it really does help you to achieve your goals. So, yeah. Next thing that I'm going to talk about is make it a plan, which I kind of really already talked about. You want to have your steps. You want to ask yourself what steps I'm going to take about, and you want to break down your goals. I feel like you cannot jump in your goals like it's a pool. Like it's a pool that you can jump, into, because you will start getting overwhelmed, you will start getting confused. So have a plan to achieve your goals. Do Q4 goals. Do your 4 Qs. First quarter, January through March. Second quarter, April through June. Third quarter, July through September. Fourth quarter, October through December. Break down your goals, your years, to those 4 quarters of the year. What do you want to achieve in the first quarter? What do you want to achieve in the second quarter? What you want to achieve in the third quarter? What you want to achieve in the fourth quarter? If you use Notion, make a Notion plan. Make a Notion page plan for that. Then, if you do use Notion, make like a little box, right? That says, what did I achieve in this quarter? And you have 3 or 4 or 5 things that you can put down on what you achieve in this quarter. Did you achieve each and every goal that you have listed on your quarters in each month? And did you achieve more things that you probably had in the second or third quarter, but you are achieved in the first quarter? So break down your goals and put them in like your Q4 goals, quarters, the Q4s, and it will help you see when you want to achieve this by, have a deadline by, and that is something that I'm probably going to do tomorrow night or today if I can't go to sleep, because I am planning to edit this podcast and also write a lot. So yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do, talk about is don't make the same mistakes. I feel like a lot of people who feel like they're not achieving their goals is because they're making the same mistakes. They're not really going after it. They're going after it, but they're not going after it. And that is something that I am doing. I know. I want to post more on social media, not just YouTube, but I want to post more on TikTok and Instagram. But I'm so scared to post. I'm so scared to edit and post, and what if people don't like my editing skills? Because I can edit a long form video very good, but short form, like I don't know. I feel like there shouldn't be a lot of editing in a short form video. Like I have that mindset and I need to change that mindset. So if you don't want to make the same mistakes and actually achieve your goals, you probably need to change your mindset. You probably need to ask yourself like those questions, what do I need to do? You probably also need to remove any media that you're consuming that talks about, well, I'm not achieving my goals. Like, I don't think I'm gonna achieve my goals. Like, the negative media that you consume on social media. Maybe you need to remove your distractions, like your phone, your social media, mute all your social media platforms that like TikTok and Instagram, and mute those. I am actually about to mute Instagram again and mute TikTok and mute my Facebook because I feel like it's distracting me from achieving my goals. Also, if you surround yourself with people who think they're losers, you're going to think that you're a loser. So you need to remove yourself from that circle. Sometimes it is okay to be by yourself to achieve your goals. And I'm just saying that. So that is something that I want to do, is change how I think, how I feel about myself, mute my apps, make a plan, and do all of that. So before we shut down this video, before we close on this video, besties, I did talk about what are some goals that I want to achieve next year in 2026. One is to actually be monetized on 1 or 2 social media platforms. One is being YouTube, and one is either being on the podcast or either Instagram or TikTok. I want to post again. Like, I'm posting again on YouTube, but it's very slowly. I want to post again twice and once a week, because I went to once a week, and I want to post twice a week. And then soon, maybe around the summer, early fall, post 3 times a week, so that's going to be interesting. I also want to post more YouTube shorts because I have seen what it done to my channel, and I see that it helps my channel grow as well. So that is something that I want to do on my YouTube channel, is to get monetized. I do either want to be monetized on my personal TikTok or on my podcast. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but either post a lot on the podcast social media and to get more viewers, post at a certain time consistently on my podcast and share my podcast, tell people to share, tell people to like, to follow, to listen to the episode. And for TikTok, because I want to be monetized a lot on TikTok, either post every single day or twice a week or 3 times a week, and do content that I know people will like. So I know fashion content is something that people like, and I do want to do a lot of cozy things on my main account. For my bookstagram/book talk, post more book reviews, honest book reviews, little like skits with books, and all of that. And do trends as well, or like post videos with trendy sounds on my book talk. For my podcast, share podcast clips on social media. I know I'm going to start doing that for YouTube again, for the YouTube shorts. For my author page, make post, share posts, tell people to like about my book a lot, share snippets of my book. So that is something that I want to do. Another goal of mine is to get my license. I kind of talked base about that. Just continue to practice. Ask God to remove the anxiety and stress from me when I'm driving, and to not really think too much about it, because I feel like that is also why I am scared to drive, because I'm really thinking too much about it, and I just should only think about what I can control when I'm driving and not worry about other people on the road. Another goal of mine is to also publish my book, so finish my second draft, send it to who I need to send it to edit and all of that, and then, because I actually found an editor, so yeah, and also get beta readers and get ARC readers, keep sharing about my book, and have a release date, which is around September is my goal, either end of September or early October. So that is my goal. But those are like some of my goals for 2026. Another goal of mine is to also rebrand my cosmetics business, my lip gloss business. Actually, is a cosmetic business. I want to, because I love lip gloss a lot. Lip glosses. I want to find new tips for my lip glosses, find a good vendor. I want to hopefully launch that next year, late next year. That is my goal, late next year, around Thanksgiving, Christmas time. I want to make a website because it'd be easier than an Etsy. I want to make do um like little shops, go to little markets, like the Christmas markets, around the time that I am planning to rebrand my business. I want to do that, and I want to do other things besides lip glosses for my business, but start with lip glosses and see how that goes. So like those are some of my goals that I want to do. I also want to start writing 2 more books for 2027, and yeah, and one for 2000, actually 3, so 2 for 2027 and then 1 for 2028. So those are like some of my goals that I want to do. And then I want to do, like, for my podcast as well, is make a website as well for my podcast, so it's easier for you guys to come to it if you miss an episode. I want to make a Patreon for my podcast for like extra episodes, bonus episodes, when I do merch. So y'all get like the first like sneak peek of merch ideas. Same thing with the group chat. We would do like Zoom calls where, like, we just do little cute activities. There's a lot I want to do, and I have to plan it all. And another thing that I want to do is do a toy drive next year, so I have to like find a vendor, not a vendor, a venue. Find a venue, get the cost, and get all that information down. I also want to get people, what is it called? Shoot, when you have like food trucks there. So I gotta find that. Maybe, have a goal on how much toys I want. Because I know where I'm going to deliver it at. And get t-shirts made. And, you know, have little crafts and stuff. And I might do a blood drive there because it is for a kids' hospital. But there's a lot of things that I want to do. And I just have to make steps and plans for that. And that's how you have to do. Write down your goals. Write them down. Don't type. Write down your goals and have a plan and have a steps for them. I feel like also if you want to do this as well, something that I'm doing either on the 30th or the 31st, which is New Year's Eve, is writing an email for myself for me to read at the end of 2026. I feel like when you do that, you can really look back on what you did. And did you achieve all your goals? And it can help you reflect on how your year was and stuff. So if you don't do that, write yourself an email. Gmail, you can just, I don't know how all email platforms do this, but I know for Gmail, you can email yourself and you can schedule the email on when you want to read it. So, yeah. But, besties, I really do hope that you like this episode. This episode was kind of short. I didn't want to make it a really long episode just because I wanted it to be cute and sweet because it's just a go-to guide for 2026. I feel like achieve your goals, make it you because 2026 is all about you and your goals, and you're going to achieve it. Yes, we had a lot of chaos in 2025. Like, I feel like the world has been through a lot, not just in the United States, but just everywhere. I feel like something happened in Australia recently, you know? And with so many wars that are happening, it's very chaotic. And I feel like we should really just take a step back, do some self care, and focus on us. And I feel like also we have to stop focusing on things that we can't control because it's really also going to stop you from achieving your goals. So, yeah. But again, besties, today episode quote is again, your discipline is a seed. It's up to you to grow it. Today's affirmation again is I'm allowed to take things at my own pace. And the journal prompt is what is a goal or what are goals that you want to achieve in 2026. All of this information, the quote, the affirmation, and the journal prompt will always be in the show notes down below. Again, my social medias is You Against You by Deja on both Instagram and TikTok. And if you want to follow my personal social media, that is Deja underscore Nicole underscore. Again, Deja DAJAH underscore NICOLE underscore. That is for both TikTok and Instagram. And remember, it's you against you, you again. Not you. Remember, it's you against you, not you against the world, besties. And to make this upcoming year your year, make it your year because it is your year. Okay, and I'll see y'all in the next episode, besties. If you have any episode ideas, you can also let me know by Instagram DMs or just comment. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Spotify, don't forget to leave a comment and a rating. And if you are listening to this on Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a review and rating. It does help my podcast push to new listeners, so it really does help and it really do make my day when I get a comment on Spotify or a rating on Apple Podcasts and a comment and a subscribe on YouTube. So yeah, but I see y'all next episode and I love you guys. Bye.